in turn, coming up here, where you have a number of schools, even preschools, such as the Children's House and Smallest Friends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting and differing philosophies. And then you have the public school.
And when you have different philosophies, I mean, the Harvard or bust, when you say Harvard or bust, that's not a bad thing, is it?
No, no, but you have to understand that early on, the parent is making the choice about their child's schooling. So very often, it's hard to understand who the child is necessarily and say, this is the best place for my child. If a parent is predisposed to Montessori, let's say,
Right.
well, they're going to send their child to Montessori whether that's the best place for the child or not.
Is Montessori more like Harvard or bust?
No, it's a very good exploration and discovery education, but it's highly organized and structured to be a certain way. If you're a Montessorian, they are classical, disciplined. This is what we do, and this is how it's done, and it's a wonderful education. But those people who either desire it for their children or have experienced it themselves know exactly what that routine is every day to explore and discover.
And the Lighthouse School is not like that.
No.
The Lighthouse School is there a certain name or label that you would attach to a school like the Lighthouse School?
There's a fellow by the name of Rudolf Steinert who was the impetus behind what are called the Waldorf schools. So the philosophy is very much like Waldorf, although not specifically said. Lisbeth Fuller, the co-founder along with Elizabeth Sundell, have done an outstanding job in saying this is the type of philosophy we're going to have. It's going to have its rudimentary principles from Waldorf and Rudolf Steiner, but we're going to make it so that it fits who we are on Nantucket. And that developmental spirit is what pervades the school, and developmental is spelled with a small d, not a capital D, because there are a lot of developmentalists, but we're of varying sorts.
Okay.
And that brings me back to what I've discovered in my life, that I'm truly a developmentalist. When I went to places like Cincinnati Country Day School, I was a closet developmentalist. But I'm out of the closet now, and it's fun being in a
And is
school
this
like
is this new for you in a way? I mean, I guess what are the challenges that you're going to have to face with this job?
Well, the challenge is to be able to market the education to the parent who doesn't quite trust this sense of we're doing these integrated things, but we're not seeing exactly. They're not going to math class, or they're not going to English class, or they're not coming home with papers that say this is an exercise in subtraction or addition or multiplication. It's done in a way that we live our lives, you and I, in an integrated way. When we're learning now after school, we're learning in a way that is particular to us. In my case, when I was done with college, I could fortunately go and start learning the way I wanted to learn after 16 years of learning the way school told me to learn.
Now, do you think that the school's also trying to expand, right?
Yeah,
and so they need you for that.
Yes, and the irony of that was when
that
I
means
originally
expand
looked at
means it's going to go
7th and
to
8th grade.
7th and 8th, right?
The irony of it is I did not come here, or the original interview presentation at school had nothing to do with 7th and 8th grade. So in a way, I thought, okay, I'm coming to a K6 after having been in K8s and K12s, and looking at this school from the lens of what it needed next. There was this little movement going on at that time called, let's find a satellite school for those 7 or 8 6th graders. And at that time, it wasn't going to be any part of the Lighthouse School. And I said, well, wait a second. You're then going to have to develop a whole other 501c3. Nantucket Lighthouse School is liable for whatever this other satellite school does. So to me, you can't split it apart, nor do you really want to. And that's when I came in and said, no, if we're going to do it, if there's an impetus behind it, it's got to be the Lighthouse School doing it.
I see.
And the board making that decision.